With another Ashes series in the bag, both England and Australia have some big selection questions to answer. So how did they all perform? In this video, I'll rate every player from the Adelaide Test out of 10 based on their impact in the match. And wait for the end, we'll have our full Ashes leaderboard from the first 3 tests. We'll start with Alex Carey. He lands a 9 for the Aussies. It was another masterclass behind the stumps, particularly keeping up to Scott Boland and to Nathan Lyon, who had the ball ragging on day 4. He also made an emotional first innings century when Australia really needed one to set up a total that otherwise would have been well under par. He rode his luck a little bit with the Snicko controversy, of course, but he otherwise gave up very few chances. His good mate Travis Head gets an 8. Adelaide's other hometown hero piled them on in the second dig to continue what is becoming a pretty remarkable series. He finished with 170 from 219 balls, striking at 77, and toyed with England's bowlers. Although Josh Tongue eventually got him out with a short ball, he made them pay for that tactic yet again. It's an 8 for Lyon as well. His second innings bowling performance was really something. His stock ball being so reliable and repeatable puts batters under immense pressure all the time. At stages, the quicks bowled around him, but on day 4, he became the main man, and in the final session of that day, which included his seed to remove Ben Stokes, he put the game beyond England's reach. The ball to get Ben Duckett on the second day was a peach as well. Mitchell Starc gets a 7. The player of the series to be contributed with both ball and bat again. He lifted when Lyon was injured on the final day to help finish off the job and take 3 for 62. That's after a quieter first innings where he finished with 1 for 61 from 16 overs. His load was lessened with Pat Cummins back in the side, but he did make 54 more crucial runs in the first innings. It's the first back-to-back half-centuries of his Test career. It's a 7 as well for Usman Khawaja, the innings no one saw coming. 1, because Khawaja wasn't meant to be playing, and 2, because his form on Australian shores had been pretty grim for 2 years. But Khawaja looked really nice on the opening day, batting in the middle order. He got into strong positions, and even when he was defending, he looked in control. Remains to be seen if he retains his spot ahead of Josh Inglis, but he has done his chances no harm at all. A 7-2 for Pat Cummins. The returning skipper didn't miss a beat with the ball in his first appearance of the series and his first competitive match since July. It was noticeable how effective the dual threat of him and Starc were on not giving England's top order an inch. He finished with 3 for 69 and 3 for 48, although it looks like he'll be rested for Boxing Day, and this was a hit-and-run mission. 7 as well for Scott Boland. He's becoming the Australian attack's Mr. Reliable. Boland took just 1 wicket in the second innings, but his 7.5 overs went for just 35 runs, with 5 maidens at less than 2 and over. He took 3 for 45 off 15 in the first innings, and his partnership with wicketkeeper Carey has become integral to stunting England's itchy-footed middle order. It's a 5 for Marnus Labuschagne. He looked more apprehensive with the bat than he has done since his impressive return to form at the start of the summer. He made 19, striking at less than 50 in the first innings, and was caught jabbing a ball to mid-wicket in a hugely disappointing dismissal just after lunch on the first day. His influence on the game, though, came in the field, replacing Steve Smith at first slip and taking 2 genuine hangers that helped change the match. It's a 5-2 for Josh Inglis. It'll be a pretty nervous week for the West Australian batter after scores of 32 off 39 and 10 off 20 across 2 digs. His dismissal on day 4 came when England had a run on and Josh Tongue found his outside edge with a ball angled back into him. He's looked okay across 2 matches and been good in the field, but his spot could be at risk if selectors decide they want Khawaja in this side. Cam Green gets a 4. He did bowl perhaps the best spell of his Test career in the first innings, and that could be important in saving his place in the team. Green's batting woes deepened again in this match. He was out for a second ball duck in the first innings, flicking a ball to a leg side fielder 4 to the wicket. Then he made 7 off 7 in the second and played another unbridled drive on the up. Boy Webster's starting to lurk in the selection frame. Jake Weatherald gets a 3. The opener was probed again by England quick Jofra Archer, who dismissed him for 18 in the first innings caught behind, before he was given out LBW off Brydon Carse in the second for just 1. But replays did show the ball pitched outside leg and would have been overturned if Weatherald had checked it. He turned his back without using a review, as many inexperienced batsmen have done before him. Now to England, it's an 8 for big Jofra Archer. Biting back at critics of his effort and care, Archer took 5 wickets and scored a half-century to have his stamp on the first innings of the match. He's finally unlocked some of that potential we've long been told about with the bat and has added significantly to his game in the past 2 matches. His scalps with the ball included Weatherald, Labuschagne and Green in his first innings fifer, and he took a stingy 1 for 20 off 12.4 in the second. It was tough to get away. It's 7 for Zak Crawley, who is starting to revive his series. The towering opener looked the best of the top order batters in England's fourth innings resistance, scoring a good-looking 85 off 151 balls with 8 boundaries. He was outstumped by Carey off Lyon while the Aussie off-spinner was on a tear. He's got his head above water, though, as selectors prepare to come around and tidy up England's batting unit. Ben Stokes gets a 6. The English skipper showed some grit, again pulling his baseball mates out of the flames with 83 off 198 in a batting marathon, but it took it out of him. Stokes was hobbled and exhausted by the end of the second day, and it meant his bowling contributions were sparse. He took just 1 wicket for the match and bowled only 7 overs after his batting stint. Josh Tongue gets a 6. The fresh look England were after in their bowling attack was pretty effective, really. Tongue took 1 for 64 from 16 in the first innings, and his economy of 4 looked okay relative to the card. He took 4 for 70 from 18 in the second, with Head, Labuschagne, Green and Inglis all among his scalps. He bowled with good pace and used his angles well, challenging guys by coming wide of the stumps over the wicket. Will Jacks gets a 5. He's really looked pretty solid with the bat in back-to-back tests now, despite coming in all the way down at number 8. Nominally, he's picked as the spinner, of course. He scored 6 in the first innings, but 47 in some rearguard work, striking at 34 in the second. It's clear England are missing a controlling spinner, though. Jacks bowled 39 overs for the match, and while he took 3 wickets, he was milked for 5.2 and over in the first innings and 5.63 runs and over in the second. It gives England's quicks nothing to work around. It's a 5-2 for Brydon Carse. He took 5 wickets for the match in a vast improvement from his performance in Brisbane, which justified his line ball selection ahead of Gus Atkinson. At least with the new ball, he provided good support for Jofra Archer and removed Head as part of a great spell on the opening morning. He got the other opener Weatherald in the second as well. Harry Brook is in the middle as well. He gets a 5. Like he so often does, Harry Brook looks great until he doesn't. His first innings score of 45 steadied England, and he helped Stokes claw their way back into the contest. He was snicked off playing at a ball he probably could have left on length for his first wicket, and then was left bewildered when he tried to reverse sweep Nathan Lyon and was bowled on 30 in the second. The number one rule of sweeping is if it doesn't hit your bat, it has to hit your body. So it was a pretty bad dismissal. Lots of 5s for England. Joe Root gets one as well. This game never reached the heights of his effort in Brisbane, and Root needed to go on with good starts both times around. He made 19 off 31 in the first innings before Pat Cummins got him for a remarkable 12th time in Test cricket. Then he got him for a 13th time on 39 in the second dig, both caught behind. It was the sort of wicket and the sort of test where Root needed to take responsibility for England's big total. A 5 as well for Jamie Smith. This young wicketkeeper, who hasn't showed a great deal in the series, could have been the man to keep it alive for England. But in a mind-numbing piece of cricket, summed up by Ricky Ponting as dopey, 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 he tried to park a Mitchell Starc ball into the members' stand after taking him for 2 boundaries in consecutive balls before it. Out for 60 when the match was there to be won. The gap between Smith and Alex Carey with the gloves is widening too. Carey's changing games, while good judges say Smith isn't even getting the basics right, including the energy he's bringing to the field. It's down to a 3 for Ben Duckett. The out-of-form opener is up against it to hold his spot for the 4th test and could be saved purely because there's only one reserve batter in the entire squad. He was undone by a good ball from Lyon in the first innings, but probably could have covered off the spin with better footwork, and he offered slips practice when he ran a ball in that direction with an ugly, ugly angled bat for 4 in the second. But he's not the worst of them. Ollie Pope gets a 2. There's a test cricketer somewhere in Ollie Pope, and that's what England have always believed. But he needs another stint out of the side now. He played a filthy shot to be out for 3 in the first innings, trying to flick Lyon into the leg side before the match demanded it, and was caught at mid-wicket. Then he was a victim of one of Labuschagne's diving efforts in the slips for 17. And here's a look at our full leaderboard after 3 tests. There's no surprises up the top. It's dominated by Aussies. We've got Mitch Starc leading the way ahead of Travis Head and Alex Carey, who have all been brilliant. Of course, some of these guys have only played 1 or 2 tests, remember, as well. We'll be back with more player ratings after Boxing Day, and our full cricket coverage is available at thewest.com.au and in the newspaper.